329-9000 or text the show at 405-651-3439.
Do it! Just do it!
Now, with Locked In, here's Parker Thune and Grayson Singleton.
Happy holidays, everybody. The Oklahoma Sooners are going to the college football playoff. And boy, did it get hairy on Saturday. But the team that prides themselves on being hashtag hard to kill put the final flourish on hashtag Red November Saturday with a 17-13 win over LSU that elevated every single Sooner fan's blood pressure, Grayson Singleton. But at the end of the day, a win is a win is a win, and style points haven't mattered since the day that the University of Oklahoma left the Big 12 for the SEC. The Sooners are 10-2. Brent Venables has taken this team to the field at 12.
Yeah, man, and when I was a student at Oklahoma State, we used to call our football team the Cardiac Cowboys, and Oklahoma's doing a very good impression of that right now. But, man, hard to kill, I think perfectly encapsulates this team. Right, because no matter how a game's going on, they're figuring out ways to win, and that's a skill. I've seen that on the text line a lot today. Is they have the skill of figuring out how to win. But this season, to me, I keep going back to it. Brent Venables is that dude, man. I don't know how much everybody on the air so far today has talked about Brent Venables, but man, he's a dog, and he is the dude. Like unquestioned, he is in my mind top 3 for Coach of the Year nationally this year, because situationally, Oklahoma State, especially when their defense is on the field, Oklahoma, excuse me, I said state, my bad. Oklahoma doesn't lose. They're winning all the situational stuff. Third down, first downs, fourth downs, getting crucial turnovers when it situationally matters. To me, that's why I chalk it up to Brent Venables. So every single one of these wins, we know the offense is porous and not going to get a whole heck of a lot better. But what Brent has done, not just as a defensive mind, but getting this team to be good situationally, is a testament to him as the head man. So I got to give it up this season, man, to the head ball coach, because he's been outstanding.
Before we go any further, folks, want to remind you of a couple things. First off, the show is brought to you today and every day by Dorsey Jones GMC out in El Reno. In the holiday season, if you're looking for a new vehicle, either for yourself or for a loved one, check out Dorsey Jones, family-owned and operated. GMC offers some of the most reliable trucks and SUVs on the road today, and Dorsey Jones complements that with their fantastic service, including half-price oil changes on Saturdays. We appreciate Dorsey Jones immensely, and all of you that send us texts throughout the show and interact at 405-651-3439. Also want to give a shout-out right off the bat here to a longtime listener, David Dermott from Tulsa, who lives in Abilene. Lifelong Sooner fan, and he is fighting a battle with lung cancer right now, in hospice care, trying to make it through football season. David, we're grateful for you. We're praying for you. And we're glad that Oklahoma has been able to put together this memorable run for you.
Amen.
So thank you for listening every day. Thank you for being a part of Sooner Nation. And hopefully the Sooners can keep it rolling for you, my friend. 405-651-3439 is the text line if you want to chime in. And isn't it amazing, Grayson, just how much winning cures everything? Because 6 months ago, on this show, 5-6 months ago, I guess, late June, early July, the conversations we were having about wide receiver recruiting in the 2026 class were along the lines of, well, they have one commit, and hopefully he sticks because freaking Daniel Odom loves to flirt with other schools. It's looking like this 2026 class could be a bust for Oklahoma at the wide receiver position. We didn't necessarily subscribe to that, but those were the conversations that were ongoing. Those were the concerns that fans had on the text line in interacting with the show on a daily basis, is what on earth is Oklahoma's wide receiver class going to look like in the 26 cycle because they are in dangerous territory. And now here we are, Grayson, 2 days before signing day on Wednesday. The Sooners lost a commitment from Braden Allen yesterday, the three-star wideout out of Lafayette, who's going to wind up signing with LSU. And no one cares. No one can be bothered to care from the OU side because the Sooners have four-star wideout Jaden Petit committed, a national top 100 prospect.
Yep.
They still have Daniel Odom committed. They have four-star receiver Jasir Rogers from the state of Delaware, the ex-Penn State pledge. And their lone in-state signee on Wednesday is going to be a guy in Xavier Okafuleze from up in the Tulsa area that is not your average three-star in terms of his athletic upside. And so the way that this wide receiver class has come together, it's been a beautiful thing to witness. And between Petit and Rogers and Odom especially, we'll see what Okafuleze becomes. He's not a year one guy in all likelihood, but you got three dudes that are going to show up and contend for playing time right away. And this is, I would say, without question, the best receiver class that Emmett Jones has recruited during his time on OU staff to this point.
Absolutely. And you do wonder, I was thinking about this, Parker. What does Oklahoma do in the transfer portal at wide receiver this year? And the reason I went to that is because we were talking about a guy like Elijah Thomas as a dude who could potentially not be a number one wide receiver. We don't want to get over our skis here, but be impactful in some kind of a way on offense in his freshman year, and that just hasn't been the case. So when you fast forward to what 2026 could hold for the Jaden Petits and the Daniel Odoms and the Jasir Rogers of the world, I think the question becomes one of what does the construction of the wide receiver room look like as to what we could forecast for them. So Isaiah Satania could potentially come back. We have no idea what's going to happen there, but he could potentially come back. You've got Elijah Thomas as a rising sophomore in there as well. And then you're going to have others like the Carriones of the world and whatnot. So it'll be very interesting to see, A, how many wide receivers are carried on the roster, but B, unlike this year, could you see some of these freshmen that we've been talking about for so long actually make some kind of an impact and get meaningful snaps for this Oklahoma team? And it's very much in the possibility that they could because they would be ready.
So Braden Allen, not going to sign with Oklahoma. Again, I expect him in LSU's class. The Sooners are going to move forward with their four wide receiver commits and four really good ones in Petit, Rogers, Daniel Odom, and Xavier Okafuleze. Oklahoma is perfectly content. I mean, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when Braden Allen first picked up the LSU offer. The Sooners weren't exactly going to bend over backwards to keep him. By all means, they were going to happily sign him on Wednesday if he wanted to stick around, but weren't going to fight him if he wanted to flip to LSU. The crazy thing is he was at the game in Norman on Saturday, and barely 24 hours later he decommits and in all likelihood will be headed to Baton Rouge. So Braden Allen is out of the class. The Sooners did not pick up a public commit in the 26 cycle over the weekend. As it stands, their most recent addition to the 26 group is Dane Bathurst, the three-star linebacker from Carmel, Indiana, that committed on Friday shortly before we went on air. So we're still waiting on the public returns from the 2026 cycle, but rest assured, folks, they are coming. What we did not have to wait on is further additions to Oklahoma's national number one class in the 2027 cycle because they picked up commits on back-to-back days over the weekend. Four-star defensive end Krew Jones out of the state of Utah locked in his Oklahoma pledge on Saturday. He didn't intend to announce for another couple of months.
I was about to say, did you expect that?
On that timeline, I'll say this. It was a possibility going into the weekend that there was an awareness of. It wasn't entirely unforeseen, but it wasn't the type of deal where you knew going into the weekend, okay, that Krew Jones is popping on Saturday. So it was a heavy consideration for him, and he saw enough and experienced enough in Oklahoma on Saturday that he was ready to shut it down immediately, and he did. And he committed to Oklahoma, and he became commit number 8 for the Sooners in the cycle. The one that did kind of come out of left field the one that did take a lot of folks by surprise because it was a name with which they weren't really terribly familiar in the 2027 class. Yesterday afternoon, Oklahoma picked up a commitment from 2027 wide receiver Trayvon Hall, who, wait for it, hails from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. So he's from the Crimson Tide's backyard and chose to play his college football 1,000 miles away in Norman, Oklahoma. I don't think it's actually quite 1,000 miles. I don't know that it's that far, but you get the picture. He visited over the weekend, loved his time, loved the Soul Mission pitch, folks. Turns out that does matter. And he locked it in with the Sooners. Shut it down on Sunday, publicly announced he's in. He's the 9th member of the class. He has yet to receive his rating from any of the major recruiting services.
Mm-hmm.
But Grayson, I know you watched the tape earlier today. You flip it on, boy, is he an exciting football player.
Yeah, you know I watched it because I texted you. How does this dude not have a star? What's going on here? No, the kid's awesome. College comp would be what West Virginia did with Tavon Austin back in those days. He's got that sort of speed and wiggle to him that you can do everything with. Exceptional in the backfield, exceptional as a receiver, and at 6'1", 180 pounds, just finishing up his junior year, the kid is going to have an incredible build to work with by the time he gets to Norman as well. So this is going to be a dude that I think will be useful as a gadget guy, no doubt. But also, that would be an extension to him being a very good route runner, being very good in space, and having strong hands. So he's a wide receiver, but he's a wide receiver that you can get uber creative with and can be a playmaker. Because right now, Oklahoma's offense, Parker, I don't think I'm being hyperbolic by saying right now Oklahoma's offense has one playmaker, Isaiah Satania, a dude who can take a short something and turn it into a long gain, a long touchdown, right? We've seen that in the last few weeks, right? But he is a dude who would be a playmaker, an actual playmaker. Just get the ball in his hands and let him go to work because he's got that kind of speed.
He's got speed and he's got incredible quickness and change of direction ability.
Yes, he does.
He's a very elusive, very slippery football player and solid size, right? 6 foot, 180, and despite the fact that he isn't nationally ranked, and of course you always get uninformed, or maybe I should say underinformed fans that see a current 0-star commit to Oklahoma, and they're going, why on earth would the coaching staff take this kid? Well, because they think he's really good, and because they think he's going to skyrocket in the rankings. And ultimately, if they think a guy is undervalued or isn't ranked and should be, they don't much care what the recruiting services think of him. Evidence, Christian Moore, right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, he's a high 3-star on both 24/7 and Rivals when he didn't have a rating the day that Oklahoma offered last Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, his birthday. So, Jim Nagy and company, when Jim said they don't pay any attention to what the recruiting services say or think, he meant that. They will perform their own evaluations and they will act accordingly. And they're not taking a commitment from Trayvon Hall this early in the process unless they genuinely believe this dude's the real deal. And he is superior to many of the other options that are already on the table for us.
Yeah, I want to ask you, has Alabama kicked the tires with this dude? Because, again, right down the street, I know he doesn't have any national ratings yet, but it ain't that hard to tell that this dude is a ball player.
You would be naive to think that an Alabama offer, if and when it comes for Trayvon Hall, is just going to be a nothing burger. I mean, that will be a situation to monitor if the Crimson Tide ever do get involved with a kid that's right there in their backyard. But for the moment, he's committed to Oklahoma, loves the Soul Mission, loves what Oklahoma will do for him as far as life after football. I mean, when I did the commitment interview with him yesterday, Grayson, that was all he wanted to talk about was the Soul Mission. And he said verbatim, I don't really have a plan B, but Oklahoma kind of showed me why I need one. And they're going to prepare me for life after football. And so that's a guy, like, the Soul Mission won the battle there. And he has a great relationship with Stacy Ford, Oklahoma's director of player personnel. He loves the idea of getting developed by a guy like Emmett Jones. But the primary reason he chose Oklahoma was the sole mission and the holistic plan for student-athlete development that Oklahoma put in front of him. So, would an Alabama offer automatically cause him to flip to the Crimson Tide? I don't think so. Would it be a conversation? Would there be some soul-searching a kid like that would have to do? Absolutely, especially after we just witnessed what happened with Braden Allen, where 2 weeks ago he's saying, no, forget LSU, I'm shutting down my recruitment, I'm all the way committed to Oklahoma. And then 2 weeks later, Lane Kiffin is hired, and within hours he's decommitted and going to wind up on the Bayou. I don't know. I couldn't tell you right now what the outcome is going to be if and when Trayvon Hall picks up his Alabama offer. Here's what I know for the moment. He's in Oklahoma's class, and they are very eager to have him. 405.
As you should.
651-3439 is the text line. Much more ahead on a jam-packed Monday installment of Locked In. Keep it here on the Ref, the Home of Sooner fans.
Locked In is brought to you every day by Dorsey Jones GMC in El Reno. Dorsey Jones GMC is family-owned and operated with a knowledgeable, low-pressure sales staff here to help you through the buying process and half-price oil changes on Saturdays. Visit dorsey-jonesgmc.com for more information.
Wrap up your year with good times and great rewards.
Because Riverwind is OKC's best casino.
Feel the thunder when you play your best hand yet.
Catch your favorite entertainment at the Showplace Theater.
And enjoy the gift that keeps on giving when you use your wild card.
Every Friday in December, join us for your share of our $80,000 Winter Wishes giveaway.
Make your season brighter at your favorite place to play.
And happy holidays from Riverwind Casino.
They don't want to hire you because your paper might say Oklahoma School for the Blind.
I was just completely homebound because I was always too afraid to go outside. I want to be a productive member of society, and that's what DRS has given me.
They offer you opportunities to getting a job, helping you learn how to advocate for yourself, find the best way to try living your life in the fullest way possible.
Oklahoma and DRS has been the biggest blessing in my life.
See me.
And not my disability.
For the professional, it's not enough to just possess knowledge. That's why at GMC, we seek to refine it, to wield its power, to redefine its boundaries, while pushing the limits. And we put this knowledge to the test in every GMC Sierra by engineering each one to outperform your expectations. So you know you're getting precision and durability when you need it most. And that's what makes the GMC Sierra the truck worth knowing. We are professional grade. See your Oklahoma GMC dealers.
No one plans for an injury, but when the worst happens, count on the best orthopedic team to turn your setbacks into comebacks. Ortho Central's comprehensive care has you covered, from expert orthopedic surgery and sports medicine to in-house imaging, physical therapy, and even a bone health clinic. So whether it's a fracture, a tear, or just life catching up with you, we're here to get you moving again. Ortho Central, it's in our bones to take care of yours. Learn more at orthocentralok.com.
I'm your football-obsessed best man. Physically, I'm right here, but mentally, I'm here. Yeah, I do. Come on, speed it up. When all eyes are on you, my eyes are glued to the game. Whoa! Touchdown, yeah! And if you didn't bundle your home and auto insurance, well, all of this could be tough to tackle. So get Allstate and be better protected from mayhem. Like me.
Call Josh Nelson, Allstate Insurance Agency, 405-360-9500 to be protected from mayhem.
Whether you're celebrating a special occasion, desire a great postgame, or after-work dining experience, the Ranch Steakhouse is the winning choice. At Ranch Steakhouse, we're grilling up the best USDA prime steaks in Oklahoma. Juicy, flavorful, and cooked to perfection. Pair that with an unbeatable atmosphere, a killer drink selection, and a wine list of over 400 personally curated bottles. Whether you're toasting the game or winding down after a big day, Ranch Steakhouse is where champions eat.
I'm Ben Affleck, and I want to thank you for joining me and supporting Paralyzed Veterans of America.
I joined the Navy to serve my country. While parachuting with my platoon, my parachute didn't open, and I broke my neck.
Thanks to PVA, paralyzed veterans are getting specialized medical care and treatments, the jobs they want, and the accessible vehicles and homes they need.
I just don't think my family would be as happy as they are. without the support that I received from Paralyzed Veterans of America.
Learn more at pva.org.
Are pests invading your home? Call Avenge Pest Control now and get your initial pest control service at half price. Avenge Pest Control is a family-owned and operated company proudly serving the entire OKC metro area, Enid, Ardmore, and the Durant-Texoma area. They take care of all of our pest control needs at the Rev. They offer free termite inspections and comprehensive services. With mice and rat season upon us, don't wait. Protect your home today. Get more info at AvengePestControl.com or call 405-693-2233. Avenge Pest Control.
It's locked in here on the Ref, the Home of Sooner fans. Parker Thune alongside Grayson Singleton. Kicking off the holiday season with you here on a Monday. 48 hours out, or less than 48 hours out. Everybody signs early on signing day. Everybody signs at the very beginning of the signing period these days. So odds are by the time Wednesday's show rolls around, Oklahoma's entire 2026 class will be officially signed. The Sooners, as it stands, held 25 verbal commits until last night when Braden Allen decommitted. They currently hold 24. I do expect, Grayson, that the Sooners are going to pick up 3 more additions to the 2026 cycle in the 2026 cycle to their 2026 class between now and Wednesday. The 3 currently uncommitted prospects, or uncommitted to Oklahoma at the very least, that I think the Sooners are going to sign on Wednesday are Malik Franklin, the 3-star defensive end from Daphne, Alabama, Noah Abibi, the 3-star offensive lineman from Friendswood, Texas, and Christian Moore, and it is Christian Moore, the 3-star linebacker from Selma, Alabama. All 3 of them were in town for their official visits over the weekend. And the vibes are good. The vibes are excellent with all 3 of them coming out of the weekend. Now, there was one scheduled official visitor over the weekend that did not even make it in. That was 3-star offensive tackle Jonas Muya from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Now, I believe I had mentioned this before on these airwaves. I talk about OU football so much on so many different platforms, I lose track of where I say things. But Purdue had been putting it in Muya's ear for quite some time that, hey, look, you're going to have a chance to play early at a school like this, but you go to Oklahoma, man, you're going to get buried. They're not going to develop you. They're going to push you to the portal in a year or 2. And after hearing that from Purdue, after hearing very similar things from West Virginia as well, evidently Jonas Muya came to the decision that, you know what, they're right. I probably shouldn't go to Oklahoma. I'm going to cancel my OV. So he informed the staff on Thanksgiving Day that he was not going to be making it down for the weekend. I expect him to sign at either Purdue or West Virginia on Wednesday. I lean Purdue there. But it's not really relevant at this point. It's not going to be the University of Oklahoma, right? So doesn't look as though Oklahoma is going to end up adding another offensive tackle in this 2026 cycle. But they are on track to add another interior offensive lineman in Noah Abibi. I really like where they stand with Malik Franklin. I love where they stand with Christian Moore. And I would say by the end of the day, Grayson, by the end of the day, you could see Oklahoma's next addition public in the 2026 class between those 3.
You anticipate that they were going to have 27 commits in this class?
I did not anticipate that.
I remember about 6 months ago, we were still thinking, 18 to 20. Okay, yeah, 22, 24 at a complete maximum. We were thinking that 19 to 22 range, and now here we are at 27. And look, man, win ball games and allow the program to sell itself.
And that's exactly what it's doing, man.
Yeah.
A kid like Malik Franklin, for instance, I genuinely I had kind of tempered expectations with Malik Franklin because that's a kid from the Mobile area, right? He'd already held offers for quite a while from Ole Miss and Mississippi State and West Virginia and several other schools a lot closer to home than Norman, Oklahoma. And he's taken this visit literally days before he has to make a decision and sign on the dotted line. I had really tempered expectations with Malik Franklin. He was the guy that of the 4 scheduled official visitors, I was least confident in. I was least confident that Oklahoma was going to be able to seal the deal with Malik Franklin, but they are very much on track to do so right now. And a lot of that is because, as you just said, Grayson, you get to Norman, these days, especially for a game day, everything does kind of sell itself. The environment is fantastic. The football team is winning. Soul Mission is Soul Mission. And this staff makes everybody feel like a priority.
Doing a pretty good job, man. And look, that's why you've got to keep a lot of these assistants on staff who are master recruiters. And it's very wild that, you know, outside of Brent Venables and Jim Nagy and Stacey Ford, the guys that we talk about that have a hand in everything, a lot of the position coaches that we've talked about a whole heck of a lot are kind of the least popular ones, right? But in terms of recruiting, they're doing their thing in the 2026 and 2027 class. This is going to be the best class that Emmett Jones has ever signed. DeMarco Murray has been doing work in 2026 and 2027. Joe John Finley, with those 2 tight ends that he's bringing in, I mean, he's looking like a recruiting stud right now. So even though there's some herky-jerky results on the field, some things that you could say that are really good, some things that leave other things to be desired, you win ball games, you figure out how to win ball games, and the ingredients come that may in time help you iron out those deficiencies in years down the line.
A listener in the state of New Mexico wants to know, just curious, how do you get the phone number of these recruits so quickly? Is there a service or an insider or a smoother way? Like you were able to phone the recruit from Alabama yesterday right after his commitment. Well, yes, there is an insider. The insider is me. I'm not trying to sound self-important. It's just, you know, that's the job, is to keep in contact with these guys, get information on them, quote them, write stories on them, provide comprehensive coverage of them, and really to provide comprehensive coverage of Oklahoma's recruiting efforts across the board. That is the gig, and it is a gig that I try to do as well as I can.
There is a question on the YouTube chat that is going to inspire what I'm about to ask you.
Okay.
Is Juju Johnson still committing today?
He is not still committing today.
Okay.
Pushed back his commitment. He has not announced what the new date will be, but he did make the visit over the weekend. Things went exceptionally well. My opinion as to where things stand in his recruitment has not changed. I still do think he winds up in Oklahoma's class. And if the Sooners can pick up one more 2027 commit in the month of December, which is overwhelmingly likely, and they're going to hit that double-digit mark, right? You remember back in, what was it, September, October? I'd mentioned, wouldn't shock me terribly if Oklahoma wound up with double-digit 2027 commits before the end of the calendar year. Well, they're going to hit that mark, man. They are. They might hit the double-digit mark. They might get to 10. They might go beyond 10 by the time the calendar year wraps up, because Elijah Harmon, the 4-star defensive tackle from Inglewood, California, is announcing on December 6th. December 7th, excuse me. And I really, really like Oklahoma there.
The Realist says, Parker just blindly calls numbers until he gets the right one.
Mark in Newcastle says, Parker, do you ever get a recruit that just says, leave me alone? No, but, you take hints from certain guys. There are certain guys, nobody will ever just say, at least not in my experience, stop calling me, stop reaching out to me, forget it. But at a certain point, if they're not responding to texts or calls, or, you do get them on the phone and they're just very abbreviated in the amount that they will talk, then you kind of take a cue.
And it's interesting, too, because I wonder how it was in the pre-internet recruiting era, whereas these days, the kids like seeing their names in these headlines. They like reading the Rivals articles and seeing Sam Spiegelman and Wilt Fong write about them and you write about them and stuff. And then, you've got their graphics. They're going to talk to people.
They will.
Yeah.
Yes. They will talk to reporters for the most part. There are some guys that just won't. There are some guys that are completely closed off to media attention, and that's fine. I'm not the type of person that's going to badger a kid if he doesn't want to talk. So if a kid doesn't want to talk, I move right along. There's always dozens and dozens of other kids that can talk to and put something out on that OU fans can consume.
Yeah, and you don't want to do that because at that point you're kind of an extension of the program too.
Mm-hmm.
So if they get annoyed by you, that could work to the detriment of the Sooners.
Hey, good question from Jay and Ellick. Any reason to be concerned about T-Ron Richardson? Yes, there is some concern there. The concern is Virginia Tech. And
yeah,
T-Ron is, of course, from Hopewell, Virginia. So Virginia Tech is a lot closer to home for him than Oklahoma is. Now, T-Ron is one of those guys that just doesn't talk. So you can get precious little straight from the horse's mouth from that kid. He's one of those kids that you have to go and see in person, which, obviously I'm not going to do that. He's in Hopewell, Virginia. I'll let my compatriots on the Rivals Network who live a lot closer to Hopewell, Virginia, take care of that for me. But T-Ron did take an official visit to Virginia Tech over the weekend. The Hokies have a lot of juice right now on the trail.
Yeah, they
James
do.
Franklin, their new head coach, is basically bringing Penn State's entire 2026 class with him.
Which, smart.
Yes. And Penn State, they haven't even hired their new head coach yet. Football Scoop just reported an hour ago or so that the talks with Kalani Sitake are intensifying. Which, if so,
Interesting.
that's a and
it's a hell of a hire if
it
they
might be a
close
good
the door
hire,
on that.
But that's a weird hire.
That's true.
Kalani Sitake has never in his life lived or coached east of the state of Utah. So he has spent his entire life in the Mountain and Pacific time zones. And now he's going to go to State College, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, it's weird fit, but he's a hell of a football coach.
He really is. I also just think he's a BYU alum, right? And that program, we know that program's just kind of different in such a way that if you're an alumnus who's winning as the head football coach at that particular program, you're going to have a tough time leaving.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know, man, but if not Kalani Sitake, then who? Because Bob Chesney is going to be the guy at UCLA. That deal is official and finalized.
Mm-hmm.
So
yep.
UCLA hired the guy that felt like made the most sense on paper for Penn State once it became clear that Cignetti and Matt Rule were not plausible candidates for the position, not guys that Penn State could hire despite the fact that they wanted to. But with T-Ron Richardson, he had taken an official visit to Ole Miss earlier in the season, and nothing really came of that. He took a couple in-season visits back to Oklahoma. But Virginia Tech here is the program that's making a late run at him prior to signing day. I can't say for certain whether he's going to flip or stick. I really can't. But kind of a similar situation as it is with Braden Allen. Like if T-Ron Richardson wants to flip to Virginia Tech, Oklahoma is not going to react at the 11th hour to try and go grab somebody just for the sake of adding another body. They will pack it in for the portal, and they do see Malik Franklin, as we have mentioned, as a guy that is somewhat likely to slide inside at the next level.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting. And that's also why you take those three-star late riser type of guys. As developmental guys, you have one plan, doesn't work out necessarily the way you had envisioned. So go get another guy that you can develop, fine-tune, and then toss him out there and see what happens. We get this text a lot.
Oh, look at that. T-Ron Richardson is decommitted from Oklahoma. Literally just hit.
Okay.
That news just hit 30 seconds ago.
Okay. Well, that wasn't the text I was referring to, but Sooner Boomer and Tuttle, we get this sentiment a lot. So is the no visits after committing to OU not a thing anymore, I guess?
It is no longer a thing. We've talked about
that. And I know we do talk about it a lot.
Yeah, we've talked about that. I know not everyone listens every day, but that is no longer a hard line in the sand for Brent Venables and his staff. Mostly because, and again, you get to a position where your program is really selling itself. You're not going to begrudge guys if they want to go take a look elsewhere, because there should be a level of confidence at this point that any other visit you take is only going to make you more aware of how good you'd have it at Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So, yes, there you go. It is official. As of 30 seconds ago, T-Ron Richardson has decommitted from Oklahoma, and my expectation would be that he winds up signing with James Franklin at Virginia Tech. So, Oklahoma's down to 23 commits in the 2026 cycle. But yet another reason why it is so significant that Oklahoma's in great shape with Malik Franklin here down the stretch. Okay, let's hit a break here, folks. We'll get to many of your texts on the other side. 405-651-3439. Got a few other bits of news, several other nuggets that we got to hit before we wrap it up on this Monday installment of Locked In. So keep it right here on the Ref Sports Radio Network, the home of Sooner fans. We shall return.
Hey, Sooner fans, this is Jaron Kanik, and you're listening to The Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
At Armstrong Bank, your business isn't just business to us. It's personal. Our bankers are invested in your success, and we're ready to build a relationship that lasts. You deserve a strong financial partner by your side. Together, we can help make your business even stronger with products and services designed for your convenience. To learn more, visit a location near you or visit armstrong.bank. Armstrong Bank. Strength runs in our family. Member FDIC.
Insurance companies aren't in the business of saving you money. They're in the business of taking your money. Hi, this is Will Gosney with Yala Gosney Attorneys at Law. Have you ever had an insurance claim and thought, wow, I really am in good hands, or these folks truly are treating me like a neighbor? Well, that's where we can help. We'll deal with the stress. We'll get you back to your normal life. So save our number in your phone, and if you're ever hurt in a wreck, call or text us at 405-800-8080. It's 405-800-8080.
Do you like to stand out in a crowd while wearing the best in OU apparel? The Jimmy Austin Pro Shop carries the best brands you can wear to work or even dress up events. Lines such as Lululemon, Travis Mathew, FootJoy, Greg Norman, Grayson, or Turtleson with the OU and Jimmy Austin logo are sure to catch everyone's eye. You don't have to be a golfer to shop at Jimmy Austin. They also do corporate special orders for you and your company. Call them today, 405-325-6716, or visit theougolfclub.com for more information.
I'm Gina Mitchell of Mitchell's Jewelry. Whether you're looking for the perfect gifts to dazzle your loved ones or choosing a present for yourself, you can rely on our elves at Mitchell's Jewelry. Explore our curated collection of Vahan bracelets, brilliant diamond studs, timeless gemstone jewelry, and the latest designer timepieces from Michelle and Shinola. Don't make Santa wonder what you want. Create your wish list online or in store. Make your holiday sparkle at Mitchell's Jewelry in the heart of Norman at 2201 West Main Street.
What's up, Ref Army? Darian Oka here, the SEC Network, and your newest host here at the Ref, the home of Sooner fans. Spend your late mornings with me and Josh Helmer every weekday from 9 to noon as we talk everything Sooners, and I'll help you all keep tabs on what's happening in the rest of the SEC. The Ref is the home for the best coverage of anything and everything Sooners, and you can listen worldwide on the KREF app. Check us out in your Apple or Google Play store by searching for KREF and take us anywhere you go. That's the KREF app for the Ref, the home of Sooner fans.
Looking for a trusted, locally owned and operated roofing company in Oklahoma? Black Thunder Roofing is a top-rated Home Advisor Elite Service Award winner and recipients of multiple Angie Superior Service Awards. They can do it all. Black Thunder also does free inspections and estimates. Locally operated in Norman and Edmond, Black Thunder Roofing serves OKC's metro area south to Purcell, Noble, Blanchard, as well as Yukon, Mustang, Bethany, and Piedmont. Visit blackthunderroofing.com or call 405-473-8028 for your free estimate today.
Plumbing and air conditioning problems seem to happen at the worst time. Hey, it's Chris Plank here. And a while back when we had a plumbing issue at our home, our first call was to Norman Air. The team at Norman Air was great. From upfront pricing to alerts before the tech arrived. The whole experience from start to finish was great. With financing available to their Max membership and servicing from North Edmond all the way south to Purcell, Norman Air is the go-to for HVAC, plumbing, and electrical issues. Visit normanair.com today.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
former member of Oklahoma's 2026 class did commit to a new institution today. Obviously, we expect here in the next couple of days that Braden Allen is going to land at LSU and that T-Ron Richardson, who just decommitted from Oklahoma within the last 10 minutes, is going to land at Virginia Tech. But Ja'Cory Smith decommitted last week, three-star linebacker from Bryant, Arkansas. And he is joining the new head hog, Ryan Silverfield, in Fayetteville. So Ja'Cory Smith going to stay home and be a Razorback.
The Arkansas reaction to Ryan Silverfield being hired was mixed at best.
That AD, Hunter Yurachek,
oh boy,
his days are numbered there.
Yes.
He is public enemy number one in the state of Arkansas. They hate him, and they hate this hire. And who knows, maybe Ryan Silverfield will win there. He's certainly done the right things on the recruiting trail in the, 24, 36 hours that he's been the head ball coach there at Arkansas. They've landed. Not only did they land Ja'Cory Smith earlier today, they also landed Danny Beal, the former Oklahoma State commit, who was probably the crown jewel of that Cowboy class before he decommitted.
He 100% was. Absolutely.
Luke says, sorry, just tuning in. Sooners have a replacement for T-Ron Richardson once he flips to Virginia Tech, or they rolling with who they got in 26. Luke, their replacement is Malik Franklin. Oklahoma has the expectation that Malik Franklin is going to grow and add weight in such a way that he will eventually play on the interior of the defensive line as opposed to defensive end. So currently he's about 6'6", 255 pounds. Got to see him with my own two eyes over the weekend while he was on his OV. Boy, he is massive. I see the vision. I see the vision, man. If you can get that guy north of 300 pounds by year 2, that's going to be scary. He's going to be one scary dude. Love his tape. Obviously love the production as well. I think he had 12 sacks as a senior for Daphne High. The tape is good. The production is good. The frame is perfect for what Oklahoma wants to do with him. So if you're swapping T-Ron Richardson for Malik Franklin, in essence, I don't think Oklahoma's getting a raw deal there.
You know, and it's interesting, too, with the evolution of the game of football, because in the NFL these days, you see a lot of defensive tackles that could be really good at ends, too, because they have that quickness and that agility, and it gives you an advantage over guards sometimes. So I think if as a Sooner fan, you would say, okay, this is kind of a more modern thing where we've got defensive tackles that are a little bit more slithery, right? I do kind of like that, bringing a guy from defensive end as long as he's got the requisite frame to be able to add weight and make him a tackle. I think that's a very interesting plan that they've got for him.
Dave from Mizzou asks, are you worried Franklin is too tall to play defensive tackle? Seems like he'd play too high. Well, we've talked about it. He does play too high.
He does play very high.
They're going to have to work that out. They're going to have to refine him in that area. But is he too tall to play defensive tackle? No, he's not too tall. You don't see a ton of 6'6" defensive tackles. But the ones that you do see, boy, are they fun.
I mean,
Malik Franklin could be fun.
Yeah, I mean, you look at a guy like DeForest Buckner for the Colts or Chris Jones for the Chiefs. I mean, those dudes are tall interior defensive linemen. But whenever we've talked about Malik Franklin being not ready and he's a developmental project, the pad level is what we are alluding to.
Correct.
When we're talking about that.
Correct. By the way, you got to cue up the circus music here because in a second we do have to get to 0 days since our last nonsense.
I'm so glad we're going to talk about this.
I'm going to let Grayson take the lead here because he was the one that stumbled upon this nonsense, or at least was the first to bring it to my attention. Syracuse, background here, is that Syracuse just put the finishing touches on a banner 3-9 season under head coach Fran Brown. And the first bit of news after the conclusion of Syracuse's 3-9 campaign will be shared with you now by Grayson Singleton as circus music rolls in the background, because this is our latest nonsense.
You know who Tusi is? Parker?
I know who Tusi is now. I had no idea who he was before today.
Okay, so he's like one of those like Playboy Cardi, Yeet type of rappers, right?
Yeet type of rappers, okay.
Yeet. So Playboy Cardi, Yeet. I know you've probably never listened to either of them, but
Yeet is a person.
Yes, Y-E-E-T.
Okay, got you.
Yes.
First time hearing of this.
Well, Tusi, I guess, is going to play football at Syracuse next year. This is directly from Rivals. You have no idea. I went to the links of verifying that it was the Rivals account that tweeted this out.
Uh-huh.
The college football recruiting world gets more interesting by the day, and Monday is no different. 25-year-old rapper Najura Granger, who goes by the stage name Tusi, has committed to play football at Syracuse, he announced on his IG. Granger made his plans known this summer that he was taking a break from his multi-platinum music career and has been training frequently in Raleigh at NC State. He says, quote, "I'm chasing history. First multi-platinum recording artist to go back to school and play D1 football. Next year I'm going to be on somebody's team, mark my words." He said that in August, and today he committed to Syracuse.
He's 25 years old.
We're going to have a 25-year-old rapper playing Power 4 football next year.
The man is 25 years old with what is, by all accounts, a very successful music career under his belt.
Very, very successful, yes.
And he's going to go play football at Syracuse? Okay, first off, I have to know, what are the odds he's actually, like, good? Is there any high school tape on him?
Okay, so they did link somewhere. They linked his 2015 tape from high school. They did link that, and I haven't watched it yet. Now, he is from Syracuse. I believe he is from either Syracuse or that area. Gotcha. Now, he played his high school football at Rollsville High in Raleigh, North Carolina.
Gotcha.
So, but I do think he is from Syracuse. Yes, he is. Currently has 3.6 million monthly listeners on Spotify and even released a new single last month.
So, clearly what Syracuse has to do is find a Tusi anthem that they can unite around. Kind of the way that everyone in the OU contingent has kind of coalesced around Many Men as their anthem for 2025.
But the thing is, like, I don't know if you would... I'm going to sound white as hell here, but I don't know if he's mainstream. So I don't know if a whole lot of people universally know his music. Like, I haven't listened to a lot of his music. I'm not gonna lie. I know who he is, but yeah, no, that'll be interesting. But in terms of like influencers or people like that being possibly good at football, look at Destroying. He's been pretty good when he's played in the UFL.
Several folks are noting on the text line, and this hit the Twitterverse earlier today as well. I guess former Oklahoma wide receiver Jaden Hazelwood, who was a 5-star prospect and had a couple decent years at OU, is now a rapper.
Is he really?
So he lived the Tusi arc in reverse.
Huh.
Chris from Knoxville wanted to know, isn't there some 50-plus-year-old playing at a D3 school, game day did a special on it? Yeah, of course, but D3 schools are just looking for bodies, man. Like, D3 schools, I could show up to a D3 school. You or I could show up to a D3 school, say we wanted to join the football team, and they'd let us on the football team. We're not talking about the most rigorous of athletic standards there. This dude's playing Power 4 football at Syracuse. So, I mean, listen, props to him. I hope it works. I would really love to know what criteria Fran Brown and his staff were keeping in mind when they evaluated Tusi for a spot on their football team. Because, forgive me if I wouldn't be all that moved by 2015 high school tape.
You know, also on this Rivals article, former overseas professional basketball player Nathaniel Salmon, at least it's spelled like salmon.
I did see this.
Who has played in Australia, then attended minicamp with the LA Chargers before gaining NCAA eligibility, which that part of the sentence is bananas, is also looking to join a program after this season. The 6'7", 270-pounder has already taken officials to BYU, Arizona State, and Utah this season. Quote, all three schools checked all the boxes for me. They all have big Polynesian communities, which I'd want because I'd feel like it fit me more, and all three have big LDS communities as well. I don't know how old this dude is, Nathaniel Salmon, but he is listed as class of 2026 on Rivals. I'm going to look this up.
Well, alrighty then. Apparently, the precedent here is that if you never played college football in the United States of America,
he is 21 years old,
and you wound up in the NFL, you can drop back down to the collegiate ranks. So I think the path forward here is very clear, folks. Oklahoma needs to drop a bag for Jordan Mailata. That's priority number one this offseason. Spend the money, Jim. Go spend the money. Tell Jordan Mailata to come on home to Norman, America. A 501 listener says the running back from Bryant, Arkansas, who was committed to Mizzou, also flipped to Arkansas. Are we still solid with Matthew Nelson, the defensive end? As far as I know, yes. He was on campus over the weekend. He and his family are very, very close with the Oklahoma staff. Oklahoma offered and prioritized and pursued that kid at a time where nobody else in the P4 was really doing that. But he's going to have Ja'Cory Smith in his ear. He's going to have TJ Hodges in his ear. And if you grow up in the state of Arkansas, you grow up watching Razorback football. So I have it on my checklist to do due diligence on those rumblings after we get off the air, because I don't want to say it's a 0% chance that Arkansas flips Matthew Nelson. They will put the full court press on basically everybody that's still unsigned in the state of Arkansas over the next 48 hours.
Yeah, they absolutely will. And it's not just that he's going to have Ja'Cory Smith in his ear. He's going to have a PO'd Ja'Cory Smith in his ear.
Yep.
Because based on those decommitment quotes that we talked about last week, Parker, he is not going to be somebody that's going to say, oh, yeah, just go to Oklahoma. Yeah, cool, homie, go to Oklahoma. No. He's going to say, yo, get over here. I don't like those people. Based on what he said.
That'll be a situation to monitor, folks. And hopefully it's a nothing burger, and obviously the hope would be that Matthew Nelson signs with Oklahoma on Wednesday, because if he doesn't, then you really are kind of in a bind. That's not a guy you want to lose. That's not a guy Oklahoma wants to lose. They were pretty indifferent about losing Ja'Cory Smith. They were pretty indifferent about losing Braden Allen. Given that Malik Franklin is en route, they were pretty indifferent about losing T-Ron Richardson as well. But Matthew Nelson's departure from the class, prospective departure, that would hurt.
Yeah. It would. Daryl the 918 Redneck says, "Forgive me, Grayson, but aren't you white?" He said that
first time, huh?
Welcome to the show, homie. No, I am not. I am very much the antithesis of that.
Yes, the exact antithesis.
Check us out on YouTube. You'll find that out.
Hey, KREF Sports on YouTube.
Also, speaking of the YouTube, a lot of people are asking, since we've been talking about wide receivers, what are the odds Oklahoma goes after Cam Coleman in the portal?
If he hits the portal, the odds are high. I mean, and Nick Marsh, we just found out earlier today that Michigan State star wideout Nick Marsh.
He's a good player.
There was some serious buzz there between him and Oklahoma when he was going through the recruiting process. He was always going to be a kid that it was going to be tough to pry him away from East Lansing, because I think he is from East Lansing. Like, he's an East Lansing kid. But he's been about the only show in town for Michigan State over the last couple of years, and he can go make himself a boatload of money in the portal, and it seems like that's what he's going to do. So I would expect Oklahoma has some involvement there now that we know he's getting in the portal.
How many big-time wide receivers do you think – I know big-time is very vague, but how many big-time wide receivers do you think Oklahoma tries to bring in this portal cycle?
One, maybe two. I think they will absolutely go and get one great receiver. That could be Cam Coleman. It could be Nick Marsh. I know that they are getting ready. They are making preparations to go drop a big old bag for a big-time wideout. And then we'll kind of see what attrition there is elsewhere on the roster as far as guys leaving.
Right.
Whether by Oklahoma's choice or by their own choice. But, yeah, one, maybe two. is what I'm looking at wide receiver. 405-651-3439, is the text line. We enjoy interacting with you guys all day, every day here on Locked In. Keep firing away. Keep texting. But coming up on the other side, your texts will be redirected to Tyler and Ted as they break down Oklahoma's win over LSU, what the playoff path may look like for the Sooners coming up beginning in mid-December, and so much more. The Rush is next for Grayson Singleton. I am Parker. We will see you tomorrow back here on Locked In.